Okay, so my name is Irina Khmeluk, and my intention today is to present to you my project on improving the process of sorting waste using a neural network. So the problem of waste sorting and recycling has been a serious issue in our world for many years, and unfortunately many people just do not sort their waste and it's just taken out and stored in landfills, and this situation will definitely lead to negative environmental and economic consequences. So the goal of my project is to improve the process of sorting waste by using innovative technologies such as straight neural network, and also to reduce the amount of human labor required in the MSW sorting process. MSW is municipal solid waste. I created the 3D model of a sorting station and neural network that can identify different kinds of waste based just on its external characteristics and appearance to deal with the issue of ineffective MSW sorting process. This project is able to solve a number of issues related to waste management, rational use of resources, reduction of CO2 emissions, and of course environmental pollution. And additionally, the sorting complex will enable interested companies to purchase second raw materials, and the organic parts of solid waste can be used as a fuel for thermal power stations to produce electricity. To visualize this project, I created a 3D model of sorting station, and once a car with the trash enters the sorting station, it undergoes weighting, and after that, radiological and toxicological control is carried out, and after that, MSW is delivered to the conveyor, which has strong magnet for sampling metal. I mean, like big metal. The conveyor moves the remaining trash to a special drum spinning drum, which has 4 zones and distributes the waste according to size. Waste bags are torn apart by special sharp ribs that rip them off as soon as they enter the drum. And additionally, the MSW will be disinfected by the ultraviolet lamps on the drum device's body, which will remove any bacteria or microbes that may have been attached to the waste surface. Trash that has been cleaned and separated in this way enters safe zones. Every conveyor will have sensor-equipped frames on which trained neural network capable of identifying different kinds of waste will be installed, and each sorting line will have robot manipulators, and each of them will be set up to handle a certain kind of trash and connected to sensors. Between the robots, there will be like tanks for sorted secondary material. And after the neural network sends a signal indicating kind of waste, the robot has to pick up the kind of trash and transfer it to appropriate tank. The neural network principle, working principle, is that it can distinguish between different types of waste based only on their outward appearance, and I use the convolutional neural network architecture called exception architecture, which uses the concept of deep decomposition. And it's important to mention that convolutional neural networks they simulate the structure and functions of human brain by employing a set of rules to assist computers in identifying features in images, comprehending and interpreting data. One of the main advantages of convolutional neural networks is their constancy in any transformations. That means that no matter how object is located, convolutional neural network will recognize that. And I use a data set with over 12,000 photos of various MSW categories, and 6 categories of MSW were processed during its training, such as clothes, glass, paper, plastic, biological, like food waste, and batteries. And after verification, the model was tested on other images, and the accuracy reached 91%. Of course, to expand the categories of MSW and increase the accuracy of recognition, I need more powerful equipment that can withstand high loads and process a large amount of data. And finally, the project's value is in its efficient use of unsorted solid waste, which is currently disposed of as trash, removed and kept in landfills, all of which harm the environment. However, they must solve regions' environmental issues and produce significant profits instead of just being buried in landfills. And also, it's important to mention that practices of sorting waste by size, using it for power generation, recycling, and reuse, it are quite common in the world, but still the waste is sorted by people, and it's actually very dangerous for humans' health. So therefore, my idea is to reduce and minimize human labor in this process by using the latest technologies such as trade neural network. And here you can see the timeline. I was working on this project since June, like the end of the June. It took me about 7 months. First stages were like reached of the situation with waste recycling and sorting in Ukraine and in the world. Then the creation of the idea and planning stages of development, and in this time I already started to creating like a neural network. Then I created a 3D model of sorting station and trained neural network, and finally, like the final stage was final testing and preparation of documentation. Now I want to share how the neural network works, that it can identify. I prepared pictures. They're not all of them from dataset. Let's take, for example, picture number 9. And now it's like analyzing the picture and telling us that there's a glass on picture number 9, and we can see that it's actually glass. So it recognized the waste just based on picture. For example, let's take a picture. It's not like from dataset. It's like food waste. Let's see if it will recognize it. And yeah, it's saying that this is biological. So yeah, it's like food waste. So again, it recognized the type of trash by its appearance. And also, I made, as I mentioned before, I made 3D model of sorting station and video animation explaining the whole process. So you can watch the entire video by following the link that you can see on the screen. And if you have any questions, I would answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good presentation. And my question is a bit practical. Have you compared your solution with any existing solution, or have you somehow estimated how much would it cost to process, let's say, 5 tons of waste with your technology?
Thank you for the question. As I mentioned, in the world nowadays, we have like we have robots that can sort waste, but they only sort like the special kind of waste. For example, in US, I know that they have robots, they can sort only plastic bottles. And now I've done the research and I haven't seen someone using like neural network for the whole process. And the second question, I don't have numbers like how much would it cost, but I can say that it would be really more cheaper than people's work, because you don't need to pay salary to the robots. You just need to install them, and that's all. They can work 24 hours and they don't get sick. Something like that.
Okay, good point. Thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, I have another question. I missed the point. Again, who? Let me. I missed the point. What is MSW?
Municipal solid waste.
Okay. So another question. do you make difference between different types of plastic? Because for recycling plastic, it's very important that the type, because different plastics can be used differently. Some of the types cannot be reused, some of them can be mixed, some of them can't. Do your project differ them in any way?
Thank you for the question. My project is based on just sorting it, and after that it will go to like recycle or use like as secondary raw material. So my project is actually based on just neural network that can identify this kind of waste. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, all the plastic falls into same category and need to be sorted after that, right? Again.
Yeah, now my neural network, as I don't have really powerful equipment, it can identify just like all plastic. So it does not like separate different kinds. But in the future, by developing this project, we can of course train neural network more powerful. I think
Okay,
it will be.
thank you.
I have another question. What will your neural network do if there is some object that it can't recognize for sure? Like potentially some chemical waste or some potential explosive being improperly disposed of? Like, what will it do then?
If the neural network will not recognize it, or it like will not be sure about the kind of waste, it will send it to people, and they will sort it, because we're not like reducing all the humans works, but minimize like the amount of humans labor.
Yeah, very good. I like this. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Other questions? Looks like no more questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Mitrofanova Sofia, a student at Polytechnic Lyceum KPI in Kyiv. I want to present you my project on the topic defining emotion in speech using Python. As you know, artificial intelligence technologies are being developed these days. However, the problem is that they are unable to recognize human emotions. According to the research and the so-called Rule 73855 in personal communication, the verbal meaning of the sentence affects only on 7% of our perception, while intonation is responsible for 38% of our comprehension. Recognition of emotion will help to develop areas of remote communication, which can be automated more effectively. The result of my work is a functional system that can define 8 basic emotions, such as sadness, joy, anger, disgust, surprise, fear, calm, and neural emotion. Their recognition is carried out through processing sound characteristics. For the implementation of my project, I use neural networks, which gives a possibility to analyze and recognize certain characteristics in audio files. In my project, I use a MLP classifier neural network. MLP classifier is a neural network of direct distribution. It means that some signals are spread in one direction, starting from the input layer through hidden layers to output layer. Also, MLP classifier belongs to neural networks of multi-level perceptron. Multi-level perceptron is a system of connection in which a signal error backpropagation algorithm trains other layers. It creates a supervised learning algorithm that learns a function from the input and output data and trains previous layers when an error occurs. In order for a neural network to recognize object on its own, it must be trained. In this work, a guided learning method is used. The method consists of learning by processing examples, in each of which contain a known input and output, forming associations between them that are sorted in the data structure of the network. The network adjusts its weighted associations according to the required information. There leads to the neural network producing the results that are more and more similar to the correct ones. This project will help to improve service in the areas of providing information remotely and in call centers. It will be effective due to the finding an effective solution of the problem. Also, in the field of psychology, it will help to recognize the emotional state of a client, and in the field of forensics, it will enable to recognize anxiety in the voice, which will lead to a further, more complete analysis of a person. I spent 5 months creating my project. The first stage was obviously the investigation of this problem and collecting information on the issue. The next step was looking for analogies and find ways to make my project individual. Next, I started developing the functionality itself and training neural network, which plays a key role in the system's operation. In December, I did conduct the last functional testing. Of analogies, I know 3 programs that are similar but somewhat different from my project. Created in Israel, the real-time emotion tracking technology beyond verbal provides the ability to define about 400 variants of the speaker's emotional state. The expression mobile application was developed by Technologies from Great Britain and is able to recognize 4 emotional states of a person, such as calmness, happiness, sadness, anger, and anxiety. The application has a client-server architecture. The EtoWatch program from the Japanese company Smart Visual is designed to define and recognize the emotions of Apple mobile devices users. Thank you for your attention, and now I want to present how my system is working. So, do you see my screen now?
Yes, we see.
Yeah, we see.
It needs a little time to recognize emotions, so I will speak now. How you can see on my screen, I have some 2 datasets in which I have more than 37,000 audio files created by different people with different emotion. In one dataset, I used to train my system, and the second dataset is my own audio files, which can give more interesting result. So now the program is write number of training and testing samples and characteristic which we find in all of these samples. So now it must write the so now you can see the my accuracy of working, and now I can write my own audio file so it can recognize the emotion. So how you can see on screen, we have 8 emotions which my program can recognize with some percentive and it's comfort because we can think about the emotion by our own, because we can such more interesting emotion than that basic 8. So thank you. Maybe you have some questions.
Yeah, I do. In your presentation, you have used abbreviation MLP. What does it mean?
MLP?
Yeah. You said you use an MLP classifier. What does MLP means?
MLP means that it's a master limited parentship.
Okay.
It's limited in using, in my opinion.
Okay. Can you bring back your demonstration, because you have demonstrated us with some audio file, but yet we haven't heard it, and I cannot understand what emotion was it, because it shows low percentage for everyone.
So it's my like functional system, and now I will do the audio file so you can hear that one.
One moment. Can you first tell me which emotion it should be? Because now I see that the main emotion is fearful, but probability is very low. It's less than 1%.
Yes, it's something between neutral emotion, because all actors speaking with neutral emotion, but it's like a little fearful, and in my opinion it is something between calm and neutral emotion, because you know, this answer is defined because its answer depends of like characteristics that the system is analyzed.
Okay, why is percentage so low? It's less than 1%.
It's less than 1%, because 1% is maximal meaning of this percentage.
Okay, so actually, so you mean it's actually 38%. Okay, now can you show us this file?
Yes, now you can hear it. I will do so you can hear it.
Talking by the door.
Did you hear it, or I can just take another one file to analyze? So
can you just hear a bit louder?
Can you please repeat?
Can you make it a bit louder?
It's maximal louder. The problem is that for training my system, I use one dataset, and in this dataset, audio files was processed with some programs, so the sound is a little bit not loud.
Okay, let's analyze another file.
Okay, so I can analyze another file in my own like data set. So now you can see calm, and now you can hear it.
They say you only come to peace with yourself when you know yourself better than those around you. Derek knew nothing about this.
Did you hear it right?
Yeah, thank you. The last question, do you have any device? Because it's like hardware category, and I see no concept of device, not even 3D model. I see your project as well. I mean, it's great programming skills, but it's hardware category. Do you have any device? Any idea of device?
In my original idea, this program has no interface because in the future I would like to make this project part of a software operation system or browser, so it doesn't need some interface.
Again, if it will be part of operation system or browser, it's not a device. Device means something physical that interact with the world, like car, I don't know, motorbike. I mean,
Smartphone.
Yeah, and I understand, but this is like hardware for the phone because it will be input in software of operation system, so that can be using with phone when you say something to Siri or Google.
But phone is not your development. The hardware development means that you build some device that can be used further. But if you are doing software for the phone, it's just a software category. It's not hardware.
So I think it's, in my opinion, this will be great addition for the phone. But now I can demonstrate something visual something visual to you.
So at the moment, this is a software.
Okay, at the moment, this is a software, so okay.
Other questions?
Вибачте, оргкомітет має
Good afternoon, dear members of the jury. I'm Dmitry Timchenko, a student of the 9th grade of Central City Lyceum, Kryvyi Rih. I represent my project, Electronic Helper for Teacher's Assistant. The introduction of children with special educational needs into social life is an important component of the modern educational process and socialization of the individual. The purpose of my research is to create a device which can help teachers' assistant in working with children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in the educational environment. You can use my device in the senior group of the primary school, as the children there are already more conscious and independent in their behavior. But it was developed by me for elementary school as a teacher's helper. Knowledge that I discovered during the work are fitness bracelet with the price of $40, a GPS tracker for football players with a price of $300. These devices are quite expensive and have unnecessary functionality, so I decided to make the device cheaper. Here is its approximate estimate. My research took place in several stages. In the first stage, I developed a mock-up of the device which shows its components, namely Arduino, pulse sensor, a charging module, switch, battery, vibration sensor, and Bluetooth module. I also suggest that you familiarize yourself with the structural diagram of the device. On the next slide, you can see which models are parts of our device, of namely vibration sensor, Bluetooth module, and pulse sensor. There is a program code on the screen. So in stage 5 of my project, I started developing of a mobile application. Now you can see its appearance. The main code of the mobile application is shown on this slide. And the auxiliary code is already on the next one. Allow you to demonstrate photos and videos of the device operation. On the left, you can see the location of the pulse sensor, and on the right, you can see the inside of the device. In the video, you can see that with strong motor activity, the program notifies with the message attention. I also want to note that there is a pulse value. In front of your eyes is the instruction manual for using the device. Step 1. The teacher's assistant puts the device in the pocket of the child's top. Step 2. Connects the pulse sensor. Step 3. Enables the app on your phone. Step 4. Connects to the device. An electronic helper for teacher's assistant is a device that will monitor such indicators as the child's pulse and motor activity. The device should be placed by the teacher's assistant in the pocket of the body top between the shoulder blades and connected to the pulse sensor, which is placed in the body top close to the heart. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. First, again, what is net worth of your device? How much it costs in total? Okay, thank you. So how it's supposed to help in education process? So teacher will see all the data from his student, but how it help in education?
First, a teacher's assistant constantly stands over the child, which is quite ineffective in their child socialization. Secondly, the work of a teacher's assistant is made easier.
I didn't understand. In education, how it eases the work of the teacher?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So teacher comes into class, every student has this device on them. How it's supposed to help a teacher educate student more efficiently?
No, this device not everyone child's it's
So
it's only for children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Okay, so it's only for students with ADHD, and it's supposed to help them study more efficiently, or what?
No, it's must help teach assistant. No children.
Okay, thank you.
So sorry?
You stopped your presentation when you declined access to your
Do
screen.
you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Our object of work is drone detecting device named CHAS. In modern realities, there is a noticeable rapid rise up of drone development because of situation in our country. So this device are using in military and in civil life. But for example, FPV drones like this drone is not a harmless toy because their engines are powerful enough to carry explosive. So it can be used to destroy troops, to destroy vehicles, etc. So also there are risks of surveillance or kamikaze drones like Lancet, Orlan, and Zala. These drones are created by Russian terrorist state and used against our armed forces. Nowadays, Lancet had become serious problem for our troops. It effectively destroys our vehicles, our tanks, but our soldiers even don't know when Lancet will destroy their shelter or vehicle. So, object of this work is a radio frequency spectrum analyzer, which can detect these types of drones and tell about danger to operator of this device. Let's talk about methods of detection. We can detect drone by optical methods, for example, cameras, but it's very expensive because we must have infrared camera to detect drone at night, and this camera must be very, very expensive to recognize drone on the distance. Also, we have acoustic method, but it will not fit in our situation because usually there are a lot of noise in environment. So we will skip this method. Also, we can detect drones by radar method, but there are some restrictions too. For example, if drone small enough, radar will not see the drone, and its problem. Moreover, radar technology is very expensive and requires personnel to operate. It's not user-friendly. You can't use radar without a degree. So there are only one method how to detect a drone with cheap hardware. It's drone detection method, radio spectrum. For example, our method is calculates Shannon entropy of received signal to distinguish if it's structured radio packet or if it's just noise from a radio warfare station. Shannon entropy is an algorithm to calculate randomness of given data. So if randomness is too low, it is not a packet. Also, if randomness is too high, it's not a packet, radio packet too. It's likely radio warfare. So if entropy is average, it is it's drawn in the sky, and we will share a message to the user that he is in danger. Our device named CHAS, it's like time in English. It's frequency spectrum analyzer. We have several advantages. Makar, can you proceed?
Yeah, sure. The main advantages of our project it's convenience, accessibility, low cost, and flexibility. What it means? Accessibility, it means that we have open source project. Everybody can make some additions in our branch in GitHub. Low cost means that details for our project CHAS costs low than $30. Flexibility means that we have special software on Windows that will help our users to change configuration of our project.
Okay, let's say something about hardware, because our project is the hardware device. What's inside of our detector? We have MCU microcontroller utility to process signals and do all tasks. It's ESP32 series microcontroller modification C3. It has one RISC-V core with speed up to 120 megahertz. It's quite enough to make all necessary calculations, and this chip is very small and very inexpensive. You may find this chip in every radio shop in average. So we don't use some extraordinary details, expensive details. To receive radio signals and demodulate it, we use SX1276 radio module. It's very popular module because of its quality. It can operate on frequencies from 137 MHz to 1020 MHz, so we can detect FPVs with ELRS and Crossfire modules. We can detect Zalas, Lancets, Orlans, etc. Everything that operates in this range. These chips widely used in commercial products, including FPV receivers. This piece of hardware has very high quality, and it's convenient to use it. UV detection in practice. Currently, our prototype is fully working. We see three situations. First situation, spectrum is clear. There are nothing ascending on this frequency. Currently, my detector is set up to scan frequency range from 902 to 928 megahertz, because it's the most common frequency for Orlans and FPVs. In first situations, there are no drone in the sky, so we aren't detecting anything. Device just scans spectrum. Second situation, we are using special module named CC1252. With special software on PC, this chip can generate signals which will look like packets from drone. And that's it. We detected it. As you can see as a picture, under picture of chip, our logger notes about activity on these frequencies, and notes about RSSI. It's a strength of signal. In such situation, we see detection of real FPV drone connected to TX12 control panel, and there are some logs in asynchronic port, and there are some logs on display. So our device is working now. I was testing this device with FPV drone. Like you can see, there are both drone detector and our joystick. What makes us better among our peers?
So let's talk about our competitors and how better. I found two direct competitors. It's Tsukurok from Ukraine and Dedron Sensors from Europe. So what's main advantages on Tsukurok? In Tsukurok, it's that they detects wide range of UAVs. They have user-friendly site where you can where you can learn some information about this device, and that's all. So the main disadvantages of Tsukurok is that it's proprietary. It means that you can change anything in this device. You just can send a message for Tsukurok programmers, and if they approve that, you will made to make some changes. Scarce material.
Makar, I will interrupt you. Even if that was true, it would be very good. But in fact, if you text to Tsukurok offers, they can only give encrypted version of firmware to flash it to your board, to your hardware. But
They will not share.
You can't change. You can't change anything, and thereby it's bad that every issue you must report every issue, and author must fix it by himself. Moreover, Sukurok uses very exotic hardware, so you must order it from AliExpress and wait very long time when it arrives. As a result, we have third problem: supply delays. If you order Sukurok, you must wait for 2 or 3 months before it will arrive. Also, we know some information about our concurrence abroad is the drone sensor.
The main their advantages is that they are very flexible. On their site, you can read that they have different models of this device, and you can buy for your needs. One of their main advantages is that they tracks the UAV position, and the last advantages is that they reliable, but they have a lot of disadvantages, and main of this is very high cost, proprietary, and professional experience needed. So user will need to have
some basic knowledge.
Some basic knowledge and professional experience to control this device. So what about our CHAS? CHAS is open source development platform. It means that everyone can make changes in our project. We have low cost for details. It's under $30. We have special PC software, and it's user friendly. It means that user can make changes without special education. But if user have some knowledge about our device, he can also changes our algorithm by loading special script to our detector in a JSON file.
With this ability, we prevent some effect when, for example, when someone produces radio warfare devices to shut down drones, but drone operators just change frequency, and this device becomes inefficient. Our detector...
Sorry, хлопці, я ніколи цього не роблю, але просто зрозумійте. Ваш слот був 12 хвилин. Ми вже 5 хвилин знаходимося в слоті інших учасників. Тому, якщо ви готуєте якусь доповідь, майте на увазі, що у вас є відповідний час. А журі ще треба задати вам питання. Тому, вибачте, даю вам 30 секунд на те, щоб ви зараз зробили якесь резюме. Вам просто зараз повезло, що іншого учасника поки що немає. Вибачте, але...
Okay, sorry. It's our mistake. We are in active development, and we have some plans. For example, we are planning to release special configurator software to easily set up all settings on this detector. Also, print on 3D printer case for our device to make it look better, and order PCBs to improve reliability. Also, we are putting firmware to smaller chips. For example, chip on right illustration, it's a receiver from FPV drones. They're available on the market, and costs nearly $25. You don't need to solder anything, just upload our firmware and proceed. Thank you for your attention. We are ready to ask for the questions.
I have a question. How much it is reliable in a field with some kind of radio electronic warfare? Like, what if, yeah.
Our algorithm detects radio electronic warfare entropy channel. If entropy is too high, it just skips this packet because it may be radio electronic warfare. On the other hand, some radio electronic warfare signals are not are skipped by transmitter chip itself.
I see. I
tested
see.
it.
Okay. And then how much it is reliable then? Because radio electronic warfare can damage the hardware, or it can like cause a bit flip in the memory of your chip, and then like what is reliability of the firmware in such cases?
Unfortunately, I don't have a radio electronic warfare device in my house, so I can't test it. But I know that chips I use in my device is widely used in FPV drones and in Sukurok detector too, but in the form of concrete PCB, not separate chips. So and they are working normally. I think that our device is reliable enough to.
I think you can also try to implement some kind of firmware fuzzing on a virtual machine. Like there are a few emulators for RISC-V that can emulate a microcontroller like RVVM or CAMU. You can use them to fuzz your firmware and figure out what instabilities it has. Okay, very good project.
Idea, thank you.
Yeah. Can you please send some of your contacts into the chat or whatever? Because I'm very interested in your project, so I want to look at it further.
We have a site, and I can send you a link. We have a contact page.
Okay. Some contacts to contact you later. Thank you very much. Very good.
I will send you my email.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Max Ashurko, and I'm happy to be here today to talk about my project Salahante. So let's start. The idea of creating of the game Salahante didn't come up at once, but only with the Ukrainian people key point on the 24th of February 2022, when our Bradley people began a massive attack on our independent country. The idea came up immediately, which was interpreted as liberation and clearing the land from the enemies. Welcome to the world of Salahante, the game that takes a player into a fantasy universe of adventure and mystery. Discover spectacular location, enjoy excellent no-poly graphics, and try to immerse yourself in the fascinating world of Salahante. The plot. The main character is the player Cossacks whose Salah stolen by orcs, and the forest where he lived was occupied by them. The main task of the Cossacks is to clean up all the land from orcs and return his favorite Salah. The creation of the game starts with the choice of a game engine. Unity is a universal engine that supports various platforms and helps create game for mobile devices, consoles, PCs, and etc. Unity stands out for its ease of learning and wide range of support platform, which allows even beginner, like me of course, to start development. By the way, this is true. It was my first time making a game, and I managed to make a good game. I used AI, video tutorials, and books to write the scripts. The development of the game started with the searching for assets in the right graphic style, namely low poly. It's graphics that doesn't load the computer too much, and also helps to create a more fabulous atmosphere, which is necessary in our game. Now I speak about menu development. I decided to create the main menu in Adobe Photoshop. All the buttons, backgrounds, and text were designed and placed in the right places on the screen. After searching and developing the resources, we created and designed the terrain, game location. Based on our needs, 7 locations we created. The first one, the Cossacks' house, is the place where the main character starts. The introductory. Next, the mountain hollow, Lake of Death, the Orc village, the mountain massif, and the last one, final rock. On this slide, you can see the mechanics that we managed to implement, of course, by writing scripts in C# using various sources and AI. To visualize the selection of a quest item, we add a customized particle system. During the development of the game, it was written 14 scripts which are responsible for one specific mechanic. The main script is player controller, which is responsible for the ability to move the player around the game location. And now we speak about all versions of our game. On the screenshot, you can see different versions of the game from the first to the last. You can also observe change and edit functionality. And now you see pause menu, first version, pause menu. Now you can see counter, first counter. Now we see building mod and first enemy. Sixth version had better menu, had better graphics and particles. On this slide, we see settings menu and more info. And the final version. When the player collects all the pieces of Salo, the game will give us a victory screen, right side. If the player health is 0, the game will display a losing screen, left side. If you win, you can see congratulations, you returned the old piece of Salo. If you lost the game, you can see on screen a message like this. You lost and your soul got into a Salo paradise. And now let's go to the game review. Let's go to game folder. Now launch your game from the icon in the game folder. Well. As soon as the game starts, we can hear the background music. There are 4 buttons in the menu: play, settings, exit, and more info buttons. The play button launches our game. The settings include all necessary settings for the game, such as screen size and graphics. The exit button exits the game. And in the more info button, we see the control keys and the development. So let's start the game. Click the button and play. Our character starts at the first location. You can move the player by pressing WASD in all game. This key is in all game. Let's go to the weapon and take it. After pointing the weapon, we can see the button where you can pick it up. Click on the E button. We have taken the weapon. Now we can attack with the left mouse button. If you want to throw away the weapon, press the G button. Our weapon is thrown away. If you just want to drop the weapon, press E. We just drop our weapon. And now we go to the next important object, the box. We can also pick it up. You can use the box for building. Click on the Q button. Building mode. Building mode is active. And now we can drop our box and put it down. Or just build a small tower. If you need to jump in game, press the space bar. If you need to run, press shift while moving. Pressing shift. Our character is running. Now let's take our weapon and go to the enemy. Go. Entering the enemy range of vision, he will start hunting us. Let's listen to the sound of a hit on our character. Well, you hear sound, and now try to kill him. Well, pressing left mouse button, we use our weapon. One more hit, and here. Here you hear the sound. It's enemy death. Now let's check the pause button. Press escape, and the game will be put on pause. Jumping or escape. Game paused, and now we see two buttons: play and exit. Now, after neutralize the enemy, let's get to the silo in the first location. We move the screen over it and see the corresponding button, E. Press it. We see the particles, and the counter has added to 1. This is how the game is playing. We neutralize enemy, complete quest, and take solo. We are out of the game. That is all I can say about my game. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Any questions?
Sorry, шановні судді, я прошу вибачення. Зверніть увагу, в протоколі просто вийшла технічна помилка, і зверху у вас друг...
Ладно. Так, доброго... Так, презентація не підвисає, будь ласка. Так, доброго дня. Мене звати Георгій, я представник, взагалі, зразу представлю, що я з кафедри комп'ютерних інженерії та програмування на НТНТУ ХПІ. І сьогодні я хотів би представити вам розробку своєї команди, яка називається Campus AR. Я вже трошки плутаюся. І так, по суті своєї, треба трошки зрозуміти взагалі невеличку предісторію. З чого починалася дана розробка і звідки вона виникла. Взагалі, хто знає, що НТУ ХПІ – це найбільший освітній центр на сході України та найбільший університет міста Харкова, який досягає аж 106 гектарів. І в нашому університеті навчається близько 26 тисяч студентів. І відповідно, що НТУ ХПІ – це не одна будівля, а набір корпусів, яких близько 20. Що зразу вже за собою влече таку невелику проблему, як орієнтування на місцевості. Це ж в першу чергу НТУ ХПІ – це велика територія огороджена, якій, для прикладу, ті ж самі першокурсники дуже часто блукають. Виникає проблема в тому, як ж таки зорієнтуватися на місцевості, зорієнтуватися на всьому тому, щоб дійти до того ж самого необхідного корпусу або аудиторії під час навчання. Все ж основним об'єктом розробки – це створення мобільного застосунку з використанням доповненої реальності для системи навігації серед територій НТУ ХПІ. І відповідно, що основною задачею – це створити саме цю саму систему, завдяки якої будь-який студент, неважливо від того, що це може бути як і українець, так і іноземець, міг, використовуючи дану розробку, зорієнтуватися та знайти необхідний йому корпус, необхідну йому будівлю. І так, по суті своєї, Основна, скажімо так, на чому побудується дана розробка, це доповнена реальність. Якщо хто не знає, то доповнена реальність – це, скажімо так, технологія, яка дозволяє поєднувати з собою реальний світ і цифровий, тобто накладати на реальний світ які-небудь цифрові елементи. Тим самим при використанні даної розробки уже на самому початку було задумано той крок, що при навігації саме користувач буде бачити не просто, скажімо так, традиційну 2D-шну карту, а саме додаткові навігаційні підсказки, які зорієнтують, куди йому йти. Прямо, наліво, направо і, відповідно, що указуючи, де саме він знаходиться, для того, щоб мати максимальний орієнтир на місцевості. А все ж для цього всього необхідно використовувати які-небудь карти. Відповідно, що власні карти ми створити не можемо. Це доволі такий трудоємкий процес, який може зайняти доволі таки багато ресурсу. Натомість, для своєї розробці ми використовуємо таку систему карт, як Mapbox. Великою перевагою є те, що даний сервіс він є абсолютно безкоштовний для нас. Не повністю безкоштовний, але має безкоштовний базовий набір, який цілком і повністю задовольняє наші потреби. Саме головне – це можливість використання карт в режимі реального часу, скачування карт, це різного роду легенди, візуалізації, тобто вже є готова побудована місцевість Харкова, і в тому числі і нашої території, і відповідно, що швидкий доступ до завантаження цих самих карт і можливість їх редагувати, відповідно, що зі сторони розробника. Платформа. На чому ж все ж таки будувалося саме створення даної розробки? Це, відповідно, що в основу пішов дуже популярний рушій, як Unity. Це ж на цьому рушію створюються не тільки класичні ігри, а й різного роду програми, які можете використовувати. Відповідно, що, як і будь-який розробник Unity, добре знає, що під нею створено дуже багато розширень, які можуть надавати розробнику дуже такий широкий спектр інструментів. Одним із таких є Air Foundation. Саме даний, скажімо так, SDK дозволяє працювати із доповненою реальністю. Дуже, скажімо так, гнучкий інструмент для того, щоб інтегруватися у будь-яку програму, створену на Unity, і відповідно, що без проблем компілюється як під таку платформу, як Android, так і під таку платформу, як, платформу, як Android, так і iOS. Тим самим зразу ми можемо саме на момент розробки вже охопити значну кількість користувачів. Так, і сама ж система навігації на території. Все ж, що на даний момент, як воно на даний момент працює? По суті, система тут дуже проста. Все ж ми використовуємо саме звичайний смартфон, камеру смартфона, яка може, скажімо так, зчитувати дані, відповідно, що візуальні, тобто, що зараз поруч з вами знаходиться. Ті самі стіни, підлога і простір. І на додачу геокоординати, які в даний момент, де ви зараз в даний момент знаходитеся. Поєднання спеціальним алгоритмом, який я, на жаль, не можу розказати, все ж це авторське право, система повністю обробляє це, де ви знаходитеся скажімо так, у реальному світі, відповідно, які поруч з вами знаходяться об'єкти. Все ж в доповненій реальності буде будуватися маршрут. Не просто там лінія, яка напряму показує, куди вам рухатися, а саме перед вами і по дорозі, якою ви будете рухатися. Так. Більш детально розказувати я весь процес я не буду. Все ж даний процес полягає саме від самого початку старту роботи, де камера вже працює на самому початку і зчитує всі, скажімо так, дані з реального світу і накладає на цифровий контент на реальний світ. Це ж на даний момент, що вже реалізовано у нашій розробці. Ну що ж, в базовому користуванні на самому початку користувачу пропонується саме звичайний поисковик і міні-карта. Міні-карта, яка просто показує, де ви знаходитеся в поточний час, тим самим можна навіть просто подивитися в різного роду, саме звичайна карта, ліво-право пройтися. Як в форматі 2D, так і в форматі 3D. Ну і відповідно, що пошукова система, яка вже налаштована на побудову маршрутів саме до корпусів нашого університету. Пошукова система працює як за повною назвою, так і за скороченою. Все ж, всі студенти, вони знають найчастіше лише скорочення, аніж повну назву. Базове меню. Базовому меню користувачеві пропонується використовувати дану розробку не тільки як українською мовою, тобто державною, а й англійською. Тим самим ми охоплюємо не тільки студентів, українських студентів, а й студентів, які є іноземцями. Тобто даний застосунок уже на самому старті пропонує вам користуватися саме як українською мовою, так і англійською. Тим самим було зроблений переклад не тільки просто там кнопочок меню, а й відповідно, що по кожному корпусу є така детальна інформація. Що це за корпус, що там викладається і де його можна знайти. Відповідно, що вся інформація дубльована також англійською мовою. Так.
Георгій, я дуже вибачаюсь, але формат нашого захисту – це 7 хвилин та 5 хвилин питань від суддів.
Тоді 1,5 хвилини можна?
Давай.
Добре, тоді я буду старатися коротше. І так, якщо коротше, то також є реалізовано режим вільного польоту, де ви можете ознайомитися як в будь-якій грі, просто пройшовши по території, відповідно, що в режимі, скажімо так, ігровому. Якщо бажаєте, також можна спроєктувати дану локацію поруч з собою в доповненій реальності, тобто перед собою спроєктували, навколо неї походили, подивилися саме своїми власними очима за допомогою камери. Так, і відповідно, що одною з великих особливостей є те, що другий режим, він доступний саме у режимі онлайн. Тобто на сайті нашої кафедри можна знайти посилання на дану гру і самостійно, навіть не маючи смартфона, просто-напросто ознайомитись з даною територією. Так, і відповідно, що... Так, я, напевно, цей слайд пропустив. Так, ну це все більше саме розробка. І відповідно, що сама демонстрація у процесі. Якщо у процесі, то, як ви бачите на даних картинках, ви обираєте корпус, вам проєктуються AR-підсказки, ви можете подивитися повну детальну маршрут, якщо вам треба, продивитися його, і відповідно, що саме перед вами буде побудований весь маршрут. Так. Ну, відповідно, що давайте я вже на висновки не буду, тому що по часу вже немає. Так, пробачте, що я трошки затягнув, готовий вислухати ваші запитання.
Сьогодні я представлю свою програму фотокод. Ця програма кодує інформацію, точніше текст, у фотографію. Я використовував HTML, Python та PyScript для того, щоб інтегрувати сам Python з HTML. HTML я використав для того, щоб можна було зразу використовувати мою програму як на Windows, так і на Android, так і на macOS, абсолютно скрізь. Моя програма кодує у фотографії за допомогою мого особистого коду. Тобто спершу текст кодується через таблицю символів, Unicode символи, у числа, а потім вже у двійковий код. А двійковий код – це можна його зобразити у фотографії як білий та чорний колір. Що я саме і зробив. Ну, для того, щоб відкрити мою програму, потрібно або відкрити сайт, що можна робити навіть на телефоні, або відкрити файл index.html. Зараз я, наприклад, відкрию сайт, і ми бачимо ось таке меню. Для того, щоб закодувати, ми нажимаємо кнопку «Кодувати», і в нас завантажується PyScript. Потім ми вписуємо сюди якийсь текст, абсолютно який завгодно можна вписати. Я, наприклад, вставлю статтю з Вікіпедії, а сюди потрібно вставити ширину фотографії. Для прикладу, я 100 впишу. І завантажується фотографія, сам код. Він виглядає ось так. Як я й казав, що одиниці – це білий, а чорний – це нулі. Так він виглядає. Для того, щоб декодувати таке, нам потрібно нажати кнопку «Розкодувати». Потім ми нажимаємо кнопку «Вивантажити фотографію» і вибираємо ту фотографію, яку тільки що скачали, і «Прийняти». Ми бачимо, що воно справді декодувалось. Також я зробив функцію для того, щоб можна було приховувати цей код у прості, звичайні фотографії. Наприклад, я зараз вивантажу фотографію. Це абсолютно проста фотографія. Вона буде виглядати... Це вона. Ось так вона виглядає. Така фотографія. І я зараз вставлю в неї сам код. Наприклад, я напишу «Привіт». Також потрібно вписати довжину фотографії, ширину. Пишу 100. І у нас завантажується фотографія. Вона безпосередньо виглядає ось так. Ось тут додалася оця частинка коду, і це є оця «Привіт». Для того, щоб декодувати таке, знову ж таки, нам потрібно нажати з фотографії. Нажимаємо «Вивантажити» і цю фотографію вибираємо і «Прийняти». І ми бачимо, що воно справді розкодувало. Ну, ось це все. Чи є питання?
Так, є питання. По-перше, чи знайомий вам термін стеганографія?
Ні, таке не знайоме.
Дуже жаль, бо цей проект ви розробили саме стеганографію, але дуже таку непотужну. По-перше, чи згодні ви, що з картинки, яку ми вивантажуємо, одразу зрозуміло, що на неї щось закодовано?
Так, це є так. Але якщо, наприклад, велику фотографію брати і вставляти маленький текст, то там дуже важко зрозуміти це, якщо не вглядатися.
На фотографії є якась пляма з чорно-білими пікселями. Як на мене, це дуже видає, що там щось закодовано. І перше, що б я зробив, це спробував інтерпретувати ці пікселі як 0 та 1. Чорний та білий можна поміняти містами, та потім намагатись розкодувати це за таблицею ASCII. І, як я розумію, ніякого додаткового шифрування у вас не використовується. Тому, якщо людина побачить цю пляму, інтерпретує пікселі за одиницею та нулем, розкодується по ASCII, вона получить текст, який ми бажали б сховати від інших. Так?
Так.
А який тоді сенс у подібному сховищі, якщо вона нічого не приховує?
Наприклад, в тому, що там є додатковий один колір, який може запутати. Цей один додатковий колір – це пробіл.
Пробіл – це такий самий символ за ASCII. Тобто 20-й начебто.
Так, але цей один пробіл – це зовсім інший колір. Він відрізняється чуть-чуть, трішки.
Можете це продемонструвати?
На жаль, я це не зможу продемонструвати, але я можу вам показати код, що ось отак от кодується пробіл. Тобто, як бачимо, що колір трішки відрізняється. Це повністю чорний, це 0. А ось це повністю білий. Це одиниця. А так виглядає пробіл.
Добре. код append. Чому саме 3, я не зовсім розумію. Добре, тобто є деяке додаткове шифрування, але краще б ви прочитали, що таке стеганографія, бо проєкт може бути дуже крутим, але, на жаль, мені здається, вам не вистачає технічних навичок.
Але наш конкурс для того і побудований, щоб діти узнавали щось нове. Я думаю, що наш учасник точно за допомогою таких правильних напрямків зможуть наступного року дати нам ще більше.
Прочитайте, що таке стеганографія, та бажаю вам успіхів.
Дякую.
І так, ми чекаємо наступного учасника нашого конкурсу. Це Ляшенко Константин, Джарвіс, Шепетівка, наскільки я пам'ятаю, слот 1648.
Да, добрий день, я тут вже.
Нагадую, що 7 хвилин на доповідь і 5 хвилин на питання журі.
Так, хорошо. Зараз включаю. Видно, так? А, ще камеру, так? Ще камеру включити, так?
Можна не включати.
Хорошо. Так, все. Jarvis is an assistant for voice control of your computer. I'm Konstantin Lashenko, I'm 15 years old, and I decided to create a computer program called Jarvis, a voice assistant. First of all, my voice assistant was created to help soldiers. After all, many of them cannot use a computer. It can be a loss of limbs or vision, so my program will help them a lot. Besides, Jarvis is also suitable for regular users. With Jarvis, you will save a lot of time. Making a beautiful presentation is not a problem. Writing an essay or synopsis is not a problem. Finding a film for the evening is not a problem. Doing chemistry, physics, biology, mathematics, or finding information is not a problem either. Jarvis has a lot of interesting commands that will make your life easier, and you can easily add them yourself using the easy-to-use interface. I am sure most of you know similar voice assistants. I'm not afraid to compare Jarvis with the analogs of large companies. Let's compare it to voice assistants like Google Assistant, Cortana, Siri, Alexa. On the slide, you can see how I compared them in terms of Ukrainian language support, Windows support, text chat, creating a presentation, searching for information, creating and writing essays, writing text at user dictation, doing tasks in various subjects, computer controller. When I first watched Iron Man, I was very impressed with Jarvis, the voice assistant. Also, my military father often told me about soldiers undergoing rehabilitation after losing limbs. This was a strong impetus for creating of my project. I tried to search for information about it on the internet, but I didn't find a decent voice assistant in Ukrainian, so I decided to create such an assistant by myself. First, I learned Python libraries and neural networks to create a voice assistant. After I had learned everything I needed, wrote functions to open apps, websites, media files, control sound and games. Then I added commands for the browser, YouTube, TikTok, and other apps. The last steps in the functionality were to connect AI to generate texts, notes, and presentations. Next, I decided to create an understandable Jarvis interface for users so that it could view functions, configure, and add its own commands. To write the interface, I used Qt Designer and TK Inter. The unique features of my program are voice control in Ukrainian. This makes my app more accessible to people who do not speak English or have difficulty in typing. A wide range of commands. The app can perform a lot of tasks that are not available in other similar apps. For example, funny functions. It can complete Minecraft, complete Google Dinosaur, show meme. Helpful function. It can create different presentation, do sums, do different tasks in chemistry, finding information. Help this lesson. Jarvis recognize Ukrainian and English. Now I will show you how it works in English. Зараз. Jarvis, turn up the volume. Чути так? Open browser. Play a video with funny cats. Open a notebook. Write, come to conference, tell about you. Order a pizza. Thank you, Jarvis. Надіюсь, все було чути.
Так, все добре.
Так, in the future, I want to make a mobile version of Jarvis. I would also like to add several languages such as Chinese, Spanish, Hindi, French, German, and many others. I will also improve the work of my voice assistant and add various interesting features. If you want to know more, you can follow me on my TikTok channel. Так, це все. Я готовий до запитань. Дякую за увагу.
Дякую. Питання?
Thanks. How many months you worked with this project? Thank you.
Thank you for questions. Job is 1 year. This project.
Yes. I'm here to present our project. My files is a Telegram bot designed to offer user an ability to manage their personal files securely and swiftly.
And I'm Cherkassa Fartemi, designer and assistant. So the main aim of our project is not simply to solve the problems of file storage and sharing, but also we want to give an opportunity to users to have access from any device in which you can install Telegram and send files. So our primary aims is to create a project that can provide anyone desirable security and to develop a creative design that promotes the idea of information security. Usability and understanding of users' needs. We were deep into studying the needs of modern users. The developers of my files was focused on providing an opportunity to ensure personal data security, which is a basic need in the modern digital world. As a result of negligence, your personal property or reputation can suffer. We solve this problem by providing people the ability to manage their files securely. Our main values are simplicity, freedom, and speed. Therefore, the origami pigeon was chosen as a symbol for our logo. The pigeon represents an ancient symbol of information transmission, bird is a symbol of freedom, while origami symbolizes simplicity. And so the abilities that our project can give to you is, first of all, to create a temporary file. So you can set a lifespan for it, and after time that you set it, it will blow up and delete it. Also, you can protect the file with a password. So you can set an asset password, and the file will have a password. So when you send it and somebody opens it, it will ask for a password. We also have a virus total check for executable files. And also for images, you can set a function that will censor it if it has a password. And we also added a view counter for a statistic.
We use different technologies and libraries in our project. iGram for simplified interaction with Telegram API, SQLite with effectively management database operation, and our project optimized by a sync function. We integrate OpenCV to create censored preview for images, and we also have the website where you can get some more information about our project. In a down of our website, you can see a FAQ. There is the most popular questions about our project. Maybe that's all. If you have any questions, you can answer it. And if you want to test our project, we invite you to our bot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions, please.
Let's start free dialogue.
Yeah. Okay. So first question is what the limits of single file size and total file size for one user?
We have Telegram limited is 2 GB for users without premium and 5 GB user with premium. And we have Telegram IP limits. It's like 25 for documents.
Okay, so I'm Helena Pastashkova, and I'm a grade student at the Polytechnic Lyceum of KPI in Kyiv. I would like to show you my research on the use of algorithms in programming. My idea was to explore the relevance and perspective of using algorithms in programming, as they can greatly ease the writing of program logic or help to organize certain actions. Algorithms are convenient and flexible, as everyone can customize them to the conditions they need. I took the bridge and deep search algorithm for my research, as it's the most basic algorithm for analyzing any structure. The essence of this algorithm is to traverse the structure and check its parts. Having checked it, you set the conditions you need. The algorithm is used in many applied tasks, and an example is finding a way out of a maze. As for the implementation, there are several options. The main ones are recursive and with additional structures. The recursive method involves the use of a recursive function call for newly defined areas, those that fit the conditions you provide. But this implementation is not effective and costly in the term of RAM usage. But this method can also be used if you don't have a large amount of data. But there is another way, which is to use an additional array to indicate the traversed sections and a dynamic structure. The dynamic structure stores information about the areas those need to be checked, mainly in the form of area coordinates. I use this particular implementation in my game. I would like to note that there is almost no difference between the search algorithm in brief and deeps. The implementation is identical in terms of code. However, the bridge first search algorithm uses a queue as a dynamic structure, and the deep first search algorithm uses a stack. Because of this, they check parts of the structure in different order. You can see it. The bridge first search algorithm moves away gradually, and deep search algorithm will check the lower parts of the structure first. So I decided to create my own game as an example of the using of algorithms. In my opinion, it will be easiest to demonstrate the algorithm work on the game board, as it's represented as a two-dimensional matrix. The game was developed in the C# programming language, and the game board is made up of the dynamically created label elements. The essence of the game is to paint as many cells of the playing field as possible in one color. During the game, you compete with computer. You start your move in the upper left corner, and the computer starts in the lower right corner. At the beginning of the game, the board is randomly filled with colors, and your area consists of one square, but the number of squares can vary. At each next step, you can choose a cell that is adjacent to your territory and whose color is different from the color of computer cells. This is necessary to separate the territories and to avoid overplanning territories at the end of the game. There are also indicators at the top that show the current color of your game and the color of your area and the computer area, and a progress bar, so you can see the size of the areas in comparison. And in the end, the one with the large area wins. When you select a cell, the bridge first search algorithm starts. The way the algorithm works in my game is as follows. The coordinates of the starting cell are placed in the queue, and in additional array, these points are marked as analyzed. As long as the queue is not empty, the coordinates of the point are removed from it, and all 4 adjacent cells are analyzed. If they meet certain coordinates, in my case, they are identified by color, the coordinates are also added to the queue. The algorithm also works when the computer chooses its move. You can also find my project on the GitHub by using the QR code, and if you are interested, I can return to this later. Where can the game be used? I offer the game to specialized lyceum to study certain elements in programming, both graphic and programming logic, or just for children who want to play something for logic. As for the timeline, the prototype of the game was written in the C++, but I decided that if I want it to be used, it should be more understandable, so I decided to rewrite it in C# with a visual interface. As an improvement, I want to rewrite the game for Android and iOS operation system, add the ability to change the size of the field, and change the difficulty if it's a game versus a computer. I will use for this greedy algorithm. And also add accounts so that you can play with your friends. And separately, for the learning process, make a mode so that you can see how the algorithm analyzes the field during each move. So, as a result of my research, I created my own game as an example of using algorithms. I also considered that algorithms are really useful and flexible enough, and the research has shown that algorithms are quite relevant and convenient to use for writing program logic. So that's all. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready to answer your questions.
Thank you. Questions, please.
What's an alternative algorithm for this game? Like we have seen the first search, but is there any other algorithm?
For my game, I use only bridge first search algorithm, but if you ask between deep and bridge algorithm, they are like similar, but for this case, will be more like I will show more like rationalніше.
Good afternoon, members of the jury. My name is Arsen. I study at Luz Lyceum 14, and I want to present you my project, the landscape generator. So, once playing Minecraft, I was interested in how those beautiful landscapes being generated. So I decided to discover this and found out that an algorithm called Perlin noise. That is how the idea of creating this project came into my mind. Relevance. The task of procedural landscape generation is not losing its relevance. We are used to seeing it in computer games, but it is also used in modern professional simulations, used for training specialists in movies, graphic works, and other areas of life. Objectives. The objective of the landscape generator project is to create a program that can generate a landscape using the Perl noise algorithm according to the specified parameters. My project should have a modern UI and high performance. Perlin noise is a procedural texture primitive, a type of gradient noise used by visual effects artists to increase the appearance of realism in computer graphics. Synthetic textures using Perlin noise are often used in CGI to make computer-generated visual elements, such as surfaces, fire, smoke, or clouds, appear more natural by imitating the controlled random appearance of textures in nature. Program development. The program development consisted of creating an interface and mathematical model for generated landscapes. The Python programming language was used for the development due to its simplicity and flexibility. The library for the mathematical model is PyVista. It provides a well-documented interface in Python programming language that exposes VTK's powerful visualization backend to facilitate rapid prototyping, analysis, and visual integration of specially referenced datasets. I chose PySite as a library to create the interface. This is a version of Qt written in C++ for Python. Also, I have some plans for the future that will improve my program's features. For example, implement textures as a color scheme, integrate textures to enhance the visual appeal and realism of generated meshes. Also, I want to enable saving of generated meshes. That feature will allow users to save their generated meshes for future use. So let's move to the testing of the program. Here is an user interface. User must provide width, length, minimum and maximum height. For example, 10 minus 5, 5. Next is surface roughness. This parameter is making plot more or less sharp. 0 is flat surface and 100 is very sharp. For example, 60. Next, seed. Seed is a parameter which generates points with seed, so when we generate plot with similar options, then the surface will be the same. Next, water level. All points below the percentage equivalent of the minimum and maximum heights will be on the same level. For example, if we have water level 50, it means that all points lower 50% will be flat and have bottom color of the specified color palette. The color palette is an option in which you could specify colors. And if we have in our documentation file, here we have color schemes that could be used. Let's use color scheme named terrain. When we press display button, in a few seconds, our landscape is generated. And if we press render, it will be opened in 3D view. We can rotate it and zoom. Then by clicking a button export, we can export that generated file to desktop, for example. Desktop, and we can export in PNG or BMP. For example, PNG it's default, but let's try BMP. Name a file A and extension BMP. And it took a few seconds, and after a few seconds on the desktop, we can find file ABMP. So then we have interesting mode wireframe, and when we click render, we can see that all points are just connected with each other without filling. That creates a beautiful scheme, and we can use it for designing our projects, as I did in first slide of my presentation here. Next, we can press Ctrl E, and in a few seconds on desktop we can find points.txt is all points that generated from width, heights, and minimum and maximum height in format X, Y, and Z, where Z is height. So in conclusion, as a result of the landscape generated project, a program was created that, according to the specified parameters, is able to generate and display points using the parallel noise algorithm. My project has a modern UI and provides high performance. Thank you for your attention.
I have a question. Do your application support exporting mesh to some 3D file formats? For example, if I want to use it in my game, how I should export landscape from your program to my game?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Unfortunately, now we cannot export it to 3D programs, but as I mentioned earlier, we can export it in TXT file. So when we have all points generated, we can import it in a 3D model.
Зараз, так, вам видно, так, презентацію?
Так.
Добре.
Yes.
Good afternoon, dear members of the jury. Our names are Rybach Ilya and Rybach Vyacheslav. The topic of the work application for pre-medical diagnostics of dermatological disease, a dermatologist.
Not everyone seeks the help of a doctor in a timely manner for the diagnosis and treatment of skin disease. Reasons for delaying a visit to a specialist may be lack of time or
Sorry. Хлопці, у вас ехо. Якимось чином зробити так, щоб звук був. Коли один докладає, інший, я так думаю, повинен виключити звук.
Добре, я тоді буду ще з В'ячеслава буду комп'ютера розповідати.
Окей, no problem. Sorry, but...
You may go on with your presentation.
I'm sorry, not everyone seeks the help of a doctor in a timely manner for the diagnosis and treatment of skin disease. Reasons for delaying a visit to a specialist may be lack of time or other circumstance. The ability to make a pre-medical diagnosis of skin disease independently and at a convenient time will help a person to navigate the current situation and take timely measures for treatment under the supervision of a doctor. Therefore, we decide to develop a mobile application using a neural network for a pre-medical diagnosis of disease based on the nature of skin rashes. Today, artificial intelligence is used in various areas of medicine, but it's mostly used to diagnose disease. Among the available applications that help diagnose skin disease, Skin Vision, developed by Amsterdam-based company to easily assess skin cancer risk factors and track potentially problematic moles. First Derm, the application provides an opportunity to receive a dermatologist's consultation through a connected device. According to the information of the leading European organization in the field of dermatovenerology, the European Academy of Dermatology and Venerology, almost 48% of the European population is faced with dermatological disease. According to the Google searches, skin disease and rashes are of constant interest. In the course of the work, the mobile application e-dermatologist was created, which helps to determine the disease by the nature of the rash on the skin with the help of artificial intelligence and to make a pre-medical diagnosis of the disease. The following technologies were used to create the complex for determining skin disease. TensorFlow, Keras, NumPy, Pillow, MobileNet were used to build the neural network. Azure Function, React Native Navigation, SPImage Picker were used to build the application. In this work, the programming language Python was used for building a neural network and Azure Function, and TypeScript was used for developing an application. Azure Function was used to integrate the application with the neural network. The dataset from Kaggle, skin disease classification, was used to train the neural network. The input layer consists of several components: a pre-trained MobileNet neural network, a convolutional neural network layer, a dropout retraining layer, and a average pooling algorithm. The hidden layer consists of two layers of 128 neurons each. The output layer consists of 9 neurons. Neurons of the output layer are responsible for image classification. Their low activation function was used for the neurons of the hidden layer, and softmax was used for the neurons of the output layer. Atom was used as an optimizer, and quadrical cross-entropy was used to determine the quality of work. Now we will demonstrate how application works.
При завантаженні застосунку e-dermatologist користувач може побачити цікавий факт, який стосується шкірних захворювань. Після завантаження застосунку користувач може обрати фото до галереї, чи зробити фото проблемної зони за допомогою фронтальної камери мобільного телефону. Після цього нейронна мережа запропонує можливі варіанти назви захворювання. Користувач матиме змогу побачити у відсотковому відношенні, яка хвороба є найбільш поширеною. Крім того, застосунок дасть рекомендацію, до якого лікаря слід звернутися для уточнення діагнозу та надати більш детальну інформацію про неінфекційність хвороб.
The application eDermatologist was tested by users who had certain skin disease, for example, fungal skin disease. So we have developed an online tool that anyone can use. The eDermatologist application helps to implement the goals of the sustainable development of the Organization of the United Nations, namely goal number 3, good health and well-being of people. The eDermatologist application does not replace a trip to the doctor. It is used for pre-medical diagnostics. eDermatologist provides an opportunity to diagnose skin disease independently and at convenient time. This helps a person to navigate the current situation and take timely measures for treatment under the supervision of a doctor to prevent a more serious course of disease. Thank you for your attention. Take care of your health.
Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
My name is Svetoslav. I'm a student of 10th grade of the Lyceum of Information Technologies in city of Kamensk. And the topic of my work is computer simulation of forest fire process, forest fire program. The goal of the work: investigate a forest fire model based on cellular automaton. Task: create and visualize a mathematical model of the spirit of forest fire using the Python language. Investigate the results of the forest fire taking into account the different strength of fire and the different strength of wind and its direction. Identify the factors affecting the spirit of fire. Object of study: a forest fire model. Subject of study: principles of functioning a cellular automaton. Cellular automaton is a discrete mathematical model that defines a population and is derived by a set of cells forming a periodical lattice and gives the transition rule that determines the stage of cell based on the current state of the cell itself and those of its neighbors located at a certain distance from it, which does not exceed the maximum. This work presents a forest fire model based on cellular automaton. The proposed computer model was developed and implemented in the Python program language and illustrates the process of forest burning the different conditions. The program has a simple and clear interface and can be used to obtain quantitative statement of the characteristic of computation process. Algorithm of changing the state of cell. Possible cell state: 0 initial state, green color; 1 active burning, red color; 2 burnt area, brown color. If the cell is 0 and is located downwind of a cell with a value of 1, the state of the cell changes to 1. If the state of the cell is 1 and the neighbor cells are non-zero, the state of cells changes to 2. The main program window allows for choosing fire strength, wind strength, and its direction. Buttons: restore field, create a new field, a technical cell, step-by-step fire development, start the forest fire process, stop the forest fire process, a text field that shows what percentage of trees remained intact after the fire. Variant of fire development. If power of fire and wind are 0, then you can see on picture 1. If the power of fire and wind are maximum, then you can see on picture 2. If the fire strength is 4 and wind is 10, then you can see on picture 3. Development of fire in changing wind. The predict probability of change in the strength and direction of wind. If you check the variable wind flag, the direction and stage of wind will change with a 10% probability. The current value of wind direction and strength are displayed in the inscription. Conclusion. This work presents a forest fire model based on a cellular automaton. Primitive one-dimensional cellular automaton can simulate the combustion process of various nature. In this work, the mathematical model of forest fire propagation was created and visualized using the Python language. Research was conducted on modeling the results of forest fire, taking into account different strengths of fire and different strengths of wind and its direction, identify factors affecting the spread. Now I will demonstrate the operation of the program. Now you can see the main window. I can change the power of fire, strength of wind, and set the direction. After I add ignition cell and start the program. When the fire is over, you can see what percentage are the trees are left. Then I click stop and can start again. Or close the program. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, let's go.
Yes. My topic is mobile application Ukraine style. So in today's conditional, particularly the war with Russia, which aims to destroy our culture and national identity, we need to force ourselves to do everything possible to preserve it. So I create a mobile application because of the understanding of the importance of saving one of the aspects of our culture heritage, such as Vyshyvanka. Vyshyvanka is not about embroidered patterns on a fabric. It is about the traditional and history of our country. So I have been working for my project about 7 months. The first stage of creating the project was planning the functionality, which focused on creating a visual image of the result of action performed by the user. In the next step, I designed the interface using the Figma developed environment. Below in the QR code, you can scan it to view. And in the final, all materials were uploaded to the project in Android Studio, and functionality was programmed using the Java programming language. So in the future, I'm going to add a language changer so that users from the other country can also learn about our culture. And after that, I'm aiming to set it on the Play Market so that the application will be freely available. So now I want to show my practice. Yes, so like that. And I'm sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, so this is my application. So this is the main page. The user can click the start button and we direct to the menu where we can choose the action which we want to do. And we can choose, yes. Sorry, we can choose the scan button and then we give access to the camera and then we need to, yes, like that. And we take a photo of the вишиванка, and next we download it to our project, and then we get the result from which region if our embroidered, and then we can see a button learn more, which by clicking on it we are directed to the page where all regions of Ukraine, and we need Mykolaivщина, yes, like that, and there we can see information about embroidered characters of this region, including the domination colors and patterns. So let's turn to the menu. Then we can choose the inscript button. We can see a field. We can enter a word. For example, it will be Valik. And there we can see a result of this word, how it inscribed in the Ukraine style. So that concludes what I want to show. Thank you for your attention. Have you any questions for me?
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. What algorithm you use to determine region of origin of cloth?
You ask about when you scan a photo and how we get the result?
Yes.
Okay, I was writing a neural work which based on markers, and when we take the photo, it's maybe how to it's scanning and choose the region which it has more markers like that.
I'm Osipova Olesa, and I study in Polytechnic Lyceum KPI in Kyiv, and today I will present you my project, Mobile Application for Children Alphavitka. Nowadays, most of children who are 3 years old already know how to use gadgets such as phones or tablets, but usually it doesn't bring them any benefits because they watch different videos and play games. Also, parents usually don't have time to teach their children how to read, and because they are busy on their work and with household chores. So I decided to develop a mobile application with which children can learn how to read. In my mobile app, there are 2 sections, letters and words. At first, child will learn the letter section, in which child can learn letters and how to read the syllables. Then child will move to the word section, in which child can improve reading skills and learn how to read words. In this section, there are 3 subsections, 1 syllable, 2 syllable, and 3 syllable. You can see them on the picture. Graphic design was a really important part of my work. The app's background were designed specifically for children perception. My backgrounds aren't too bright and they're made in abstract form. The interface is simple and clear, and pictures are big and attractive for children. Also, the 3 pictures I drew at home on my computer with using of graphic tablet. I make a mock-up in the online service Fima to make it easier to create an application. In particular, I did it to navigate while writing code and placing elements. On the picture, you can see my mock-up. To develop my mobile application, I use such programs as GIMP, Inkscape, and Fima for creating images and mock-up. Voice recorder, audio converter online, and MP3 loader are used for recording and editing sound. And Android Studio are used for writing Java code. In the future, I'm going to improve my mobile application. I plan to create more sections of the application, like sentences, text, and few animations that can illustrate certain words or expressions. And also, I'm going to add more words to existing sections. Now I will compare my application with some analogs. In my application, it is simple interface. Functions are necessary. Words are divided into syllables. My application teaches child letters and reading. Words are familiar to children. All pictures are created by me, and in my application there are no advertisements and there are no offers to buy something. But in the analog, interface can be complicated for children. Functions, there are unnecessary functions. Words aren't divided into syllables, and analogs teach only letters. Analogs don't teach child how to read. Words in analogs can be hard and unfamiliar to children, and all pictures are taken from the internet. And in the analogs, there are advertisements and there are offers to buy something. In total, it took me about 4.5 months to create my mobile application. And now I will show you how my mobile application is working. When you enter, you can see two sections, letters and words, and at first we can go to the letters section. We can see there are different words, and at first I will open the letter A. We can see there a structure of pages in that section. There is a big and little letter, word with this letter, and that word that is divided into syllables. If we click on them, we can listen a corresponding sound. A. Апельсин. Апельсин. Do you hear the sound?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, fine. And I must say that all audios I record at home, and in my application there are nearly 140 audios. And also we can see a picture that is illustrating that word. I will say it again, that all pictures I drew at home. Also we can look at another pages. Огірок. Огірок. And now we can go to the main page. Now we can move to the second section words. We can see there are 3 subsections. It's 1 syllable. At first we can go there. We can see the corresponding word with the corresponding sound. Кіт. Кит. Мак. Now we can go to the 2 syllable section. Зима. Зима. Дірка. Дірка. And now we can look on the 3 syllable section. Долина. Долина. Будинок. Будинок. And one child is already, one child older uses that app, and it's my little cousin who is 3.5 years old. My aunt told me that she really liked my mobile application and it was really interesting for her. She was looking on the pictures for a long time, and she repeated the words that were said in my application. And now I can show you my Java code. There you can see my Android Studio. It's a page and it's code for it. Also can look for a code for adding sound. You can see there all my pages, like it's other code, and also like this. We can see other page. In that file, we can see all pictures that were added to my application. Also, there are all buttons. And in that file, we can see all audios that I recorded. And now that's all. Thanks for your attention. And do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What's your plan for future development of your app?
How I said a bit earlier, I'm going to add other sections, sentences and texts. Also, I'm going to make some animations that can illustrate some words and expressions. And I'm going to add more words to existing sections. And also, I want to upload my mobile application to Play Market.
Good evening, my name is Makari. I'm happy to be here with you, and today I want to show you my project, Synapse, the high-level C++ machine learning library. Synapse is a simple C++ module created from scratch that automates the processes of creating and learning machine learning models. The main aims of this project are to make C++ AI development more simple and to stimulate the emergence of new AI startups and projects. Importance. Nowadays, C++ is actively used in many fields such as medical or military industries, embedded or web development, and so on. This language could become a conductor between these fields and AI, but its complexity with AI instruments can make development challenging. On the other side, there are modern machine learning instruments like TensorFlow or PyTorch that are made for very high-level programming languages like Python. Such languages are fine, but their main drawback is their scope. They can be used only for the most casual tasks, but mainly not for those mentioned earlier. So this project is designed to solve this problem by combining simplicity and possibilities. Thus, what are advantages of my module? To understand it, let's compare Synapse to the very popular platform TensorFlow. Firstly, as you can see from examples of codes on the slides, my module contains a simple TensorFlow-like API, so you can manually create models layer by layer. However, I mentioned that this project automates the processes of creating models. How? On the screen, you can see the same code behind the content, both written in C++ using TensorFlow and Synapse. And the advantage of my module in this example, I think, is obvious. But does this tool even work? To make sure of it, I tested my module. First, I tested it with some real-world dataset downloaded from an online platform called Kaggle, which contains 60,000 training examples and labels. On the screen, you can see a QR code with a link to this dataset and other related data. Next, I created a couple of programs using my module that you can see on the screen right now. And furthermore, I was testing this project while developing it, actually using the Google Test framework. Regarding the timeline, development timeline, the initial concepts of this project emerged in my mind roughly at the beginning of August. For the first couple of months, I mainly studied machine learning, actually completely from scratch, and I was developing this idea of combining possibilities and simplicity in one module. Then I started to think about the project structure and architecture, and I aimed to make it as flexible and easy to explain as possible. Then in November, I started to actually implement the model, and for the last 2 months, I was refactoring the model and fixing bugs. Next, let's talk about where you can find this project, download it, and learn how to use it. This project can be found on my GitHub page. It's completely open source and ready to use. This project is also well documented right in the project repository. You can find instructions on how to build and use it, different examples of code, and tables of available functionality. And by the way, the CMake build system is used in this project, which also makes it cross-platform. And finally, I'd like to tell you about my plans for this project. Firstly, I'd like to create a website where I could find documentation about this project and download its pre-built versions for different platforms. Next, I'd like to develop its functionality to make it competitive with mentioned earlier tools like TensorFlow. And finally, I aim to monetize it, for example, by creating copyrights, finding some sponsors, or launching its own platforms like Kickstarter, when interested people can invest in your project to help bring your ideas to life. And now, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but one moment. Here is source code and simple example of usage. You can see that CMake is actually used here. You can run this program and see that on the output, we have approximately the same numbers that were in training data. And finally, I'm ready to answer your questions if you have them.
Okay, you say that TensorFlow and PyTorch cannot be used in military and medicine spheres. Why?
They not can mainly for they can, but for like most, as I mentioned, casual tasks. And for example, embedded development, you won't program like some, for example, embedded system in Python, you know. C++ is actively used, and the main reason why I said so is because C++ is like common in this, very common in this such of fields, in such of industries, and here it is fast, and its like scope is very wide. So.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, I'm Vladimir Rusik, and today I'm presenting my project, Plugin AI Helper. After the outbreak of war in Ukraine, the issue of quality education for school children and students who cannot attend educational institutions arose. Nowadays, the popularity of distance video learning is constantly growing, and there is a need for quick and efficient access to the necessary information. Students do not always have time to analyze a large amount of data during distance learning, which leads to a lack of understanding of the topic at a high level. The aim of this work is to develop a plugin that uses artificial intelligence to automatically find answers to a question based on video content. To achieve this goal, I consider neural network training methods that allow the system to adapt to different types of videos and questions. To solve this problem, I came up with an effective solution in the form of a Google Chrome plugin that can work in every user's browser, as it does not require extensive computer skills. And the plugin has three main functions. It scans video materials and sends them to a neural network for processing. In due course, the neural network answers any questions about the video and learns in real time through user requests. The development stage of the project consists of 4 parts. The first, most important part is training the neural network. The second is to create a plugin design that will not burden the user. Next, writing the plugin code in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and the creation of the server side based on the Python programming language. The JavaScript code of the plugin sends requests to the server, which processes them using a neural network. To train the neural network, I used the TensorFlow framework, which is the best for prototyping. The neural network was trained on open source questions and answer datasets. But a full-fledged neural network requires a lot of power to work correctly and accurately. In the future, I plan to add training using other queries. And now I want to demonstrate how it actually works. So let's try on first video. It's a video about the force. So the first question. And we can see the answer. Let's try on another video about the energy on English. And we can see the answer. So thank you for your attention. Have you any questions?
Good afternoon. My name is Nazar Kisil. I'm 10th grade student at the Polytechnic Lyceum of KPI in Kyiv. My project is dedicated to the development of Discord bots with awesome functions. OSINT is a method of collection and analyzing information from open sources such as news, websites, social networks, and more. The reason to create this bot was a full-scale invention in Ukraine by the enemy and the spread of a great deal of fake information. By searching for information of different types and from different sources, this bot demonstrates the range of information possibilities of OSINT and its information analysis. When choosing a platform for a bot, I took into consideration three aspects: the audience, the amount of users, and the level of cooperation with other services. Discord is perfect for these parameters. Its audience is gamers who are always interested in computers and the internet. That's why Discord's popularity is only growing. It also has many interactions with different services, which allows to enhance the bot's functionality. Now I want to show you the practical part. I need to switch my presentation, switch my screen. 1 second. And Discord, yes. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Well, on the screen you can see that after I added the bot to the test server, it asked me to call the commands option to learn about these functions. Let's try commands. And we get the full list of commands, the first which is find. To develop it, I used my own search engine based on Google used custom search engine. This is search engine. The bot from this search engine, bot searches for information based on the user's request. Let's try, for example, find news match in Ukraine. And we get 3 links to websites found in the search engine based on our request. The next command is source. It also uses the created search engine, but it searches for the first website that contains the information the user wrote. For example, source Ukraine. We get the first link found on our Google request. The Instagram function uses the installer library, which displays information about user profile by their username. Let it be Instagram YouTube. As a result, we get the name that is given in the profile, username, description of the Instagram account, the number of posts and followers to the nearest number, because Instagram doesn't show the exact number but rounds it off. This allows you to follow the exact stream of followers in the real time. Next command is check mail. It uses the API of hunter.io, which check the email address and given us information about it. These functions can also check some corporate mails. It will be my test mail. And we get a significant amount of information about the mail, its status, score. The score is influenced by how the mail behaves on the network, whether is it spamming or the number of complaints about this mail. We also get a check for this possibility, mail services, whether this address can send and receive emails and more. And finally, 2 functions that depend on each other. There are encrypt and decrypt. Using the cryptography library and the base 64 encryption system, the bot encrypts the message. Let's try encrypt INFOMATRIX Ukraine. And after calling the encrypt command, we get encrypted message and the key to decrypt it. I would like to point out that the both Latin and Cyrillic characters are encrypted. Now let's decrypt the message. First we write our key, and after this our encrypted text. And as a result, we got the original message. I added the option to decrypt with a key in order to split the encrypted message into two parts, the key and the message itself. This makes it possible to transmit an encrypted message using two ways of transmission information at once, the key and the encrypted message separately. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, which encryption algorithm do you use in encrypt and decrypt commands?
I just wrote used the library cryptography for net, and it's just it by itself choose the algorithm to encrypt the system. Need I enable camera?
As you wish.
Hello, my name is Andrei Mikhalko, and I want to introduce my project. Since it was created, Bitcoin made a real revolution in the financial world, offering fully decentralized and secured crypto payments. The next revolution was appearance of Ethereum, which allowed us to create different tokens, decentralized banks, exchanges, games, NFTs, and etc. And nowadays there are over 2,000 cryptocurrencies, and to connect with these ecosystems there is also a bunch of different crypto wallets to store and to send crypto. But crypto technology has one big disadvantage, as it is difficult to use compared to traditional money. Because with traditional money we can send fiat just by touching other phone, and the transaction will be done thanks to NFC. But with cryptocurrencies this is impossible. So we have decided to change the rules and to create a fully functional cryptocurrency wallet for Android-based devices with NFC transfer support in various EVM-compatible networks. And my what-to-do list was very short: to develop a graphical user interface, to enable the execution of cryptocurrency transactions through conventional methods, and of course to incorporate the ability to transfer funds utilizing NFC functionality. To create the application, we used different development environments, technologies, and libraries. And voila, we have MasterPay, a cutting-edge crypto wallet, and you can get it on Google Play right now. So let's take a look on how it works. As in other wallets, you can import an existing wallet or create a new one. You can protect your wallet with a password. You can also change between light and dark themes. Furthermore, you can import any ERC20 tokens as well as EVM-compatible networks. And you can also transfer crypto using traditional method by copying and pasting public address. But there's one more thing, the most important thing. MasterPay is the first cryptocurrency wallet in the world which allows you to transfer crypto using NFC method, and here is how it works. The receiver selects the token he wants to receive, for example, Phantom, and enters the amount to receive in the first field. Next, he clicks on the receive button and
touch his device to the sender's one. Next, after sender's confirmation, transaction will be sent to miners and funds will arrive at the receiver's balance. And as you can see, transaction is successful. So download our application, use it, and stay in touch with your crypto, because MasterPay makes it easy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Questions? Any questions? Well, looks like no questions. Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Okay, hello dear jury, let's get started. My name is Alexey Dija and I am presenting the Generosity Genes program. This is an applied program designed to conduct scientific research on integration of intelligences with different goals. Today we will discuss the following questions. What segment of gaming industry need implementation of neural networks? How will this change the gaming industry? What is this work about? Assemble games with colonies and minions controlled by neural networks allows modern iteration of such intelligences. Minions is the basic units of the game that can move, eat, attack, and generate food through this. Colonies are groups of minions that act collectively. In a game, you can see the state of each minion and the weight of its neural network. Before creating colony, you can set coefficients to evaluate their actions, which will absorb learning. The gaming interface capable of showing territories controlled by colonies, as well as minions, food, and map boundaries. The game was developed in C++ using SFML and DRM-GUI frameworks. Let's talk about artificial intelligence in the gaming industry now. Artificial intelligence is used in games to create more realistic and engaging experience. It is applied in various areas, including NPC behavior. For example, NPCs can react to the world events, such as weather conditions or enemy attacks. They can also form relationships with each other, creating a sense of lively and dynamic world. Quest generation. AI used to generate dynamic and unpredictable quests. Combat. For example, enemies can use different tactics and they can adapt to player actions. Economy. For example, prices of goods and services can change based on supply and demand. Intelligent agents. For example, they can assist players or create competition. Now, let's compare game intelligence and artificial intelligence. Both approach to creating intelligence in games with their advantages and disadvantages. Game intelligence based on if-else blocks is simple to implement and does not require significant computational resources, but it can be quite limited in its capabilities. Machine learning-based artificial intelligence is more complex and powerful, but requires significant computational resources and can be challenging to implement. The choice of approach creating artificial intelligence in the games depends on the specific need of the game. Therefore, for the best result, it's necessary to find harmony between them two. What is perceptron? Perceptron is artificial intelligence model inspired the working of the human brain. It is used to solve tasks related to pattern recognition, prediction, or control. How perceptron work? It receives input data such as images, text, or numbers. In the hidden layer, processes its data using artificial neurons, which perform calculations and seek connections between them. The perceptron outputs results such as data classification, cat or dog, prediction, will terrain, or control, turn left, right, or forward. Neural networks can be divided by structure and architecture. By structure, fully connected and sparsely connected, or partly connected. By architecture, to convolutional neural networks, deep neural networks, and recurrent neural networks. Let's talk about my perceptron implementation. For each minion, neural networks receive information about the types of objects around it in 5x5 grid with 3 blocks, as well as information about the state and memory cells, totaling 75 plus memory cells. From this, it can be concluded that my neural networks model is a multi-layered combination of two types of fully connected recurrent networks, competitive and hopeful networks. The neural network outputs 14 actions that Minion can perform, as well as a block of information for the next step. The neural network was also implemented in C++. Let's view video rollback about review interface.
Hello, let's start the interface overview. Comfortable use of the program, we have ability to change the map scale by right-clicking the mouse to the train coefficient, which we can set on the control panel up in settings. Also, we can set the camera movement speed, zoom animation quality, and the simulation or pause button. Let's move to the colony control tab, where we can create a new colony and manage excited ones. For example, we can view the population count, create minion, change coefficients, or delete the selected colony. Next, let's go to the game editor tab. For switch, as we were gods, we can create the most JOS requirement condition for our minions. The first available element in this file is the eat cost coefficient, with which we can change the amount of food required for all action of all our minions. It can be used to encourage minions for exploration. Then we see the buttons that set the train state of our cluster, like no state, route creation, wall creation, cell cleaning, selection of colony from drop-down list, and create minion. And with the left button, we can apply the state name to the trait cell where the cursor is located. Also, at any time, we can click the left mouse button on a minion and see architecture and traits of its network. That's all. Thank you for watching.
The Generosity Genes program has several advantages over it allows use various neural network architecture to obtain practical results and achieve learning efficiently under specified conditions, allows modeling the interaction of intelligences with different goals under a condition of limited resources, easy to use and allows for easy modification of game parameters, open and available for future development. The Generosity Genes program can be used to study the following questions. How intelligence with different goals interact under condition of limited resources? What factors influence the survival and development of intelligences? What behavioral strategies are most effective for intelligence with different goals? Thank you for your attention. I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Am I right that your neural network library is entirely self-written?
Yes, I develop my own neural network.
Pretty good. Okay. I think that you need to add a bit more graphics, like some sprites and animations. Does your game engine support animations and other stuff, so it can be easily added?
Yes, I'm now developing the update to the game that will add online and the ability to build minions and better communicate with each other. And after this, I maybe
so your game engine supports multiplayer, right? Yeah.
Now not, but
but you're you're preparing the code base for such design, multiplayer design.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Can you share a GitHub link with us in the chat?
Okay. But then my repository is now private and.
Okay. So it's not open source because I thought you said it is open source somewhere in the presentation.
I can send build of my game.
Okay.
From Google Drive.
Okay, another question. Does it use any operating system specific interfaces, or does it entirely use SPML and cross-platform interfaces? So can it be easily ported to Android, macOS, Linux? Not yet.
Yes. Because
yes.
Because I can use CMake for import library like SFML and DRMOG to another platforms like Linux, but I don't know about Android and iOS because.
So I'm Maria Lyabov, a student of KP Polytechnic Lyceum of Kiev.
The topic of my work is creating a neural network that identifies people based on their dynamic features. Currently, facial recognition is not 100% effective due to varying masks during the pandemic and varying seasonal accessories. However, in 2021, Arman Khvalani, a biotechnologist, conducted a study in which it was discovered that each person has their own individual walking style, which can be compared to a fingerprint. So gait features are one of main physiological signs of a person by which person can be identified. That's why I decided to create a tool as an addition to existing video surveillance systems to identify people by their characteristic gait without analyzing facial parameters. I embodied this project in the form of neural network to which video cameras are connected. So the information from these video cameras the neural network process and determines which person it is. To create a neural network, I used such libraries you can see on the screen. So a neural network was developed and trained to identify a person based on his or her individual features of gait. On the screen, you can see the process of processing the submitted file by the neural network and the result. The result of the neural network is given in a percentage. Also, an experiment was conducted. In this experiment, 4 people were involved. In order to test the created neural network, the task was to identify each person included in database who appeared in front of the camera in different clothes and with an invisible face. Also, I would like to give an example of use of my development. A man committed a theft on the station while his face was covered by a mask. Later, the man changed his clothes and took off his mask, and he became unrecognizable. So the human brain cannot recognize a person without certain characteristics that the thief deliberately got rid of. However, using recordings from video cameras and with the help of neural network, it's possible to compare the movements of suspects with the movement of thief in a mask. The neural network will analyze the submitted data and identify a person with the gait of offender on the move. I worked with my project for 6 months. I started work in July and finished it in mid-December. So to sum up, a neural network was created as an addition to existing security system that works with a stream of video files and classifies people based on their look and on their dynamic parameters. The neural network allows identification of male and female, adults and children without analyzing the parameters of face, if the person's face isn't visible. And this project can be used at train station, in the subway, at the entrance to the school, for the purpose of security attendance, attendance control, and in the field of finding children. Thanks for your attention.